Works perfectly fine. Never run into an actual problem with auto-negotiate. Every problem that somebody's thought they've had with auto-negotiate has been the problem with the cable or the other device not being an auto-negotiate, something like that. Okay. If you would like to, you can turn off auto-negotiate. Once you disable it and hit submit, which I'm not stupid enough to do because I'm plugged into this port, you will then be able to set the duplex pause frames and speed on that port. Okay? Let's not do it right now. You could also turn the port off if you so wish to do so. Now at the bottom we got priority and max rate. So if you wanted to rate limit this port and say, hey, well this guy's only paying for 50 megabits, he's only getting 50 megabits. Okay? You can put in a max rate there. I was talking to some guys the other day that had Gigaplus, they had more ports to play with, but same thing would work here. That had a cellular carrier plugged into the second port, so they made them a high priority, but they're only paying for 96 megabits. Okay? And then they were using the rest for their traffic, so no limit, but lower priority. Now the priority only applies to untagged traffic coming in. Okay. So if you have traffic that does not have a VLAN tag on it, therefore it does not have a priority, we will assign this priority to it as it passes over the radio link, and then drop that, put it back to what it was before when it comes out the other side. Okay? If it has a priority, or if it has a VLAN tag, which means it has a priority, 0, nothing, not specified, then we will not override it. Okay? It will only add a tag on tagged traffic.
This is a local priority.
Yeah. So the typical explanations, like I said, with the, you've got the cellular customer or something, or you go to a customer that you're providing a private circuit to, and they don't know what VLANs are, and so they give you, here's my VoIP traffic, and here's my network traffic. You could prioritize their VoIP traffic on one port, but limit it to 10 megabits or whatever they need, and then have the other one for traffic. The max rate is only on the ingress, so you have to set it on both sides. Same thing with quality service, it's only on the ingress, so you have to set it on both sides. Okay. Finally, at the top of the page here is the egress margin. We're going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, because you got too much to remember already today. But effectively, just keep in mind, this has to do with the quality of service. The tighter the control, like 0, 5, the better quality of service. The larger the number, the more throughput, but less quality of service. You could also restrict this if you need to, but we'll talk about it. You can put the radio into weighted round robin or strict mode. Okay. The Apex Plus has 4 queues in it. Stratolink has 4 queues in it. The Giga Plus has 8 queues. Okay. So in the Giga Plus or the Giga Pro, I believe it's the same. The priorities, these are the VLAN priority tags. Okay. So priority 0, priority 1, priority 2, priority 7, map to these 4 queues. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So basically 2 to each queue. In weighted round robin mode, you can apply a weight to it. So you can do something like, I want 1 of those, and 2 of those, and 4 of those, and 8 of those, or whatever. Okay, so you can do weighted round robin. Or if you go to strict mode, then you just have the strict setting. And in strict mode, the Q3s are dealt with before the Q2s, before the Q1s, before the Q0s. Okay. In this case, I would take 8 Q3 packets before and then I would take 4 Q2 packets and 2 Q1s and 1 Q0. Okay. If you're using DSCP tags and you would like those to take effect, you'll need to map those to a priority in here. Okay? So you take whatever the DSCP value it is that you want, you map it to a priority. That priority is in turn mapped to a queue in strict or weighted round robin mode. By default, these are all 0, and we are ignoring the DSCP settings. Okay? So whatever customer's DSCP is already there, we're ignoring it. If you want it to actually take effect, you've got to map it here. Okay? By default, the layer 2 quality class of service priorities are mapped like you saw before and take effect. And it's in strict mode by default. I just changed it to weighted round robin.
So if we wanted to enable, let's say, expedited forwarding on 46, you would enable that, so we make that 7 for highest priority.
Yep.
And then we have to tie that. How does that work with the queue?
It's already tied up here, so 7 here is already mapped to 3.
Okay.
So you would just map this to a priority, and then it uses the existing layer 2, if you will, mappings.
Okay.
So you would do, I forget what the numbers are, all 40, I forget the numbers.
46 is the VoIP stuff, right?
Yeah, so like 40, 42, 44, and 46 would be 7s, and then you'd set the 32s to be 5s, or I don't remember the numbers, but
Okay.
do
Because
something.
we're just now talking about doing that, because mostly your licensings are pretty well, they're big pipes, so we haven't had an issue, but some of them are getting fuller, so we're talking about maybe enabling that stuff.
Yeah. The quality service really comes to play when the ACM kicks in, as it shifts down the modulations. So that's quality service. One thing of note, and this is a web interface bug, if you will, when you change this to strict mode, those DSCP settings disappear. They don't, they do disappear, you can't see them, but they are taking effect. So in the current version, you've got to go to weighted round robin so that you can set the DSCPs, then go back to strict. Or you can do it from the CLI. But the CLI is much harder to deal with for these than the web interface. Okay, so SNMP. Okay, you guys asked for it. You can change these SNMP strings directly here. Now you can do it. You can also turn SNMP off. Here's the bad news. The web interface uses SNMP. Okay, if you change the strings, you're going to lose the web interface. You'll have to go to the CLI. You'll have to turn SNMP off and turn SNMP back on, and then the web interface will work again. Or, and here's the contradiction to what I said before, you could save and reboot. You'd still have to go to the CLI to save and reboot. You might as well just turn SNMP off and back on. Tells you that right here. Do not, I repeat, do not set these both to the same thing. It will not work. If you want to send out traps from the radio, you will then set up your IP addresses and how many traps you want to send out to. So 10, 14, 14, then 10, 12, 200, 16, okay. Put in whatever IP addresses you want to send traps to, turn them on or turn them off, and submit. It will now send traps to those addresses. Okay. Tomorrow we'll talk about monitoring, pulling the data as opposed to pushing the data.